Yeah. Okay, so seems like we are live. Hey there, everyone. Hitesh here, and welcome to another live stream. I posted about this live stream on my Instagram first, so it's not a surprise one. And I got something amazing up here in this live stream. I got one of my very good friend and somebody whose product you actually use in your daily life in case you are a mobile developer. So won't be wasting too much of the time. I guess people first, but let me just put it into a slow mode so that at least we can see some of the comments. Just give me a couple of seconds. Okay, so and hopefully YouTube will send notification. So yep, we are seeing some of the people joining up. Okay, so yeah, lots of people are here actually. And slow mode is enabled now. So let's bring our guest up here. Okay, so hey Sanket, how are you?
Hey Hitesh, good to be here. I'm good. How about you?
I'm also surviving in this pandemic just like you.
Yes, that's the big thing, right? I couldn't, I had done so many things before, I mean, right before the second wave hit, for a professional quality studio and all those things, but pandemic, it's the same for everyone. I hope everything is fine at your end and in your family.
Yeah, it's a little bit struggle, but I'm not a vlogger, so I wouldn't be discussing much up here. But really, first of all, I would like to say that it's really amazing and fantastic to actually finally bring you up here. Your products are most accessible product, but you are not so much accessible. I do
Not really.
understand it's busy,
Yeah,
but why so
Mhm.
much? Like, I tried to reach you out for a long time. You have been busy?
Hitesh, yeah, a lot actually. I finished up one of my yearly presentation at Geeky Ants just yesterday, and that's when I texted you. Okay, I'm done. I can speak to, but it's not that bad. I have been right before the second wave. I was somewhere here and there. So finally, yeah,
Yeah,
here
we were
and
having a
good to
lot of
be
chat that
connected.
time
Yeah.
also, I guess.
Yes, I always thank that I hosted that thing on Clubhouse where we interacted for the first time,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, we should do something about it.
Yeah, actually, Clubhouse is usually not that popular in India, but somehow I got really good people and interacting with those people. It's really fun to be there.
Yep, anytime.
Okay, so how was your launch
Great.
of the native base? One of my favorite product to use.
Yeah. Uh, the launch is still pending, I would say. It's the alpha release that we have put it out there. And the actual public release is going to be in about 2 to 3 weeks. I don't want to overcome it and underperform, but yeah, hopefully in next 2 or 3 weeks, you'll see it live. And it's been rebuilt right from the ground up. I gave a couple of talks and I was on React Native Radio as well just yesterday. So there is a lot of details you can find
Uh,
out.
there is a nice comment from Sayantan Ghosh. He says, "Hello, sir, and native base is really awesome. It saves a lot of developers' time."
That's the thing I want to hear all the time. So thank you so much for using it.
So one of the thing I read about in the release documentation because I'm all the time reading the docs. One of the early challenges that I faced on when I was making a React Native course is I was like, it takes so much of effort to design these components and stuff, and I was looking for, is there like something related to like we have Bootstrap and web? Can't we have something on the on the mobile and React Native? And that's exactly when I searched a lot and find out and I was happily surprised that it's a company right from Bangalore. Like, wow, this is something that we are doing for the entire community.
Yeah, and it's surprising, the motivation behind NativeBase was Bootstrap. And at one point, when we launched the first version, we used to say that this is the Bootstrap of React Native. And then later we thought, okay, that sounds maybe a too ambitious. We can just stick to okay, a component library of React Native. And yeah, it started all from there. And I'm happy that you're checking the docs. I'm pretty sure that you're going to love the third version that's coming soon, including, I think it's going to ease the life of developers, and it's going to give a lot more flexibility to the users and developers as well. Like NativeBase 2 and 1 was more of like uh, design system, which is like platform guidelines by Android and iOS. But this one is more shifted towards the trend of like utility
Yeah.
first, CSS, and
There
all
are
those things.
there are two things which I would like to bring attention to all the folks here. There are two new things in the native base which I would like to touch directly from the founder. One is the factories, and the second one is the inclusion of the utilities, which actually makes it so much easier to now design apps. Like probably what used to take like 7 days is gonna take just 2 days. Like that much of improvement. So can you share a little bit more on factories and utilities?
Yeah, I think when you start with a component library that is like, okay, that's built in with all the design. Okay, there's a comment, so thank you so much, Shafa.
Yeah.
Great. So talking about the utility props and the factory function, I think that's where the industry is moving. That's where you get all the flexibility from, and the inspiration has been Tailwind CSS. Uh, and Adam wrote a really nice article about like why best practices don't really work. And you find out that when you freeze the design with a component too much, and then you want to go creative at a later stage in your app, say change some color or add some padding, then you have to break out. Either you duplicate the component and then write the styles, or maybe add a prop for conditional. But slowly your code is like more of, every part of your code is like full of conditionals, this and that, and then you lose control like how you want to flow it. And that's where Tailwind philosophy comes in, that give a bunch of like low level classes and
And
styling, and then
inject
use it
them wherever you
in your
like.
app. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is a little bit of resistance for a lot of developers. uh, like it feels like inline CSS, right?
Yeah, but it
But
is not.
yeah, it is not. It overcomes all the problems of inline CSS in a beautiful way, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so inline, like this entire theming of this has divided the community into two equal parts. Either you absolutely love it or you absolutely hate it. There is no in between in these kinds of styles.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. And yeah, factory function is something that I'm really proud of what the team has done. Uh, it's like you can pass in a component and then compose and make it aware of the native base V3 styling.
Yeah,
And yeah, yeah,
that's
that
exactly
is
like
really nice. And
we used to use
yeah.
the storybooks, but I guess
Mhm.
that's not much of a need now because you can make it like you can utilize factory so much that in the small scale apps we don't need storybook or something like that.
Yeah, and also I wouldn't say that it's all our work. The factory function, it's inspired from Material UI. Then we have the utility props that's from Tailwind CSS, and it's based on top of style system. So I would say it's all the work, great work in the JavaScript and CSS community put together and then built on top of it. I wouldn't take the credit of like all those great work done by great people in the community.
Yeah, but
Good. So
it's
we have a comment.
yeah,
Yeah,
these
great
are
comments coming in.
yeah, these
This
are
this
keep
gets me
these will
excited.
be keep on coming, and I would like to request all of you, please don't do any super chat today. We won't be taking much of the questions because surely I'll be taking your questions as well. But if I'll be going too much into like Angular versus React debate, then it's not gonna be much fruitful here. So we surely can bash React or Angular, whatever you like, in some other videos. It's gonna get thousands of hundreds of thousands of views, but not today. Let's skip that. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I would like to touch upon that
sure.
topic of like this versus that. It gets the attention and eyeballs of like everyone, and then people just don't talk about the good things about both the frameworks, but trying to like just bash off. Gets more into political, I would say. So let's not keep that
it,
today.
it actually gets a view in the YouTube. There is a thing that once you put out a series, let's just say a JavaScript series, and you say what is JavaScript, it gets hundreds and thousands of views. But when you start teaching about conditionals and something functional component, it gets just 200 views. So obviously you have to do some time to grab attention and to grow a little bit on the YouTube. Is a very, very strange place.
Yes. Yeah, and that's coming from you, so I'll just take it.
Okay, a little bit on the casual side, not from too much geeky. I can see some sound panels being installed at the backside. So any kind of music, like in case a lot of you don't know, Sanket, he's quite a musical person. Am I right?
I love music. I listen to a lot of like different types of music and big fan of like great musicians in the country. But I try to spend some time on composing a bit, but not too much. I don't get enough time. Yeah, I like guitar, and my co-founder Atul plays drums, and you can find some video here and there on Twitter. But yeah,
Yeah.
just a bit.
So I guess when next time I get a chance to visit Bangalore, maybe I can shoot some videos of playing guitars and drums. Maybe we can plan it.
Come over anytime. Yeah. And
Okay.
I really like Hitesh, when I was exploring these things, like whenever I meet people, I love to explore their other side, not just their professional side. And I came across your home gym that you have installed. That's a beautiful thing. And I,
Thank
I,
you.
I want something like that at home as well. And in this pandemic, I think that's a great setup that you have got.
Yeah, this luckily I didn't got rid of all of it when it was all getting okay. I still got my water rowing machine and some dumbbells. Like that's the best thing I got up here because we sit so much on these desks and it's inevitable that you're gonna get your back pain, shoulder pains. It's inevitable. So working out is one of the most important thing. If you're in the IT, like do it. Do it right now before it's too late.
I totally go by that for sure.
Like you must be seeing, like I see my seniors who are in the industry and all the time they complain about the back ache and this ache, and I just like I don't want to end up like that. I'm pretty sure you must be
Totally.
seeing them.
Yeah, I've seen that, and there are two problems. One is the definitely the physical thing, the posture and all those things, sitting long hours on chairs, and then second is the mental stress as well. And I don't want to get into either of them. I try to maintain good diet and work out whenever possible, and also like the music side of it, right? That
Yeah.
gives me like recreational. Like, so always, I really like that you're promoting these stuff, Hitesh. I've seen people just like build an audience with just the technical stuff what people are looking at, but these things are, I'm really proud that we have someone like you who is like pushing
Thank
all
you
these
so
things in
much.
a balanced manner. Yeah.
It's an honor that it's coming from you. And what I really wanted to build on this channel is not, I could have named it as Code with Hitesh or probably Technical Hitesh. You know, it's very popular to name out every channel as technical. But I wanted to keep it a little bit more as what I do. And I don't just code all the time. I do take photos as well. I meet people, I greet with people, and I like to network as well. So whatever all I do, I try to share this on channel, and really happy that you are appreciating that. It's really good for us.
Yeah, and talking about photography, I think your pictures are making rounds of internet. Someone is using, people are using it all over. So
Actually,
that's a good thing to see. Yeah.
this got started with Oracle. Actually,
Hmm.
me and in case a lot of people don't know, John Bura. Uh, you might be knowing him from his website, Cave of Programming.
Okay.
He's a
Okay.
very famous
Yeah.
guy in Java world, mostly in the European side. We got both sued by Oracle.
Oh. Oh my God. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we both got sued by Oracle, and the only fault that we were having was in our course thumbnail, we were using the Java logo.
Oh.
So we
And
request
how did that end up from there? Like, did you remove it, and did they have like follow up
we
things on that?
yeah, we had to remove it, and then they tried to grab some money as well. But ultimately, in the end of the day, it settled down like pretty nicely. It was not too nasty. But then I realized that
Mhm.
it's very important to donate some of the things in the community. Like open source definitely is one of the biggest thing. But another essential part of open source is photos as well. Photos need to be somewhat a little bit free so that people can actually use it, and somebody needs to be there to address this issue. So I was learning photography at that time in Switzerland or something, someone there. I thought that, hey, let's start take photos and just distribute them open source. No copyright claims. Use it in commercial. Use it in your website. Make $1 million of it. I have nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I think copyright is a problem like everywhere, not just like pictures for audio, even for like React's licensing model. It was open source, but the licensing model was like something else that avoid like restricted people for not using it for commercial purpose or something. So this entire industry is somewhat weird. Like talk about Spotify and music bands there, they struggle to make money sometimes. So it's a weird thing when it comes to copyright and like intellectual property rights.
Yeah, and these things are really amazing. Like, you definitely don't want your things to be misused, and on the same time you want to earn a little bit money, but not like insane that you restrict everything. Like, it's a hard balance to find around.
Right, that's true.
Like, I pay
Hmm.
so much for my music. A lot of people might be seeing those videos, and at the end of the video I play like 20-second 30-second clips of from musician, and they are mostly independent artists. So I buy a lot of their music and put them like $5, $10, $20. I buy them all the time, and people keep on asking me, from where do you get the music? I buy them, otherwise my channel wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be surviving this long.
Right, and does it go like on the number of views that it gets, and you have to pay it like that, or is it like one time buy
No,
and you use it?
most of these people from I get, they actually say, "Are you gonna use full song in your music album or something?" I said, "No, it's just a programming video, and I'll be using it probably at the end or just." And they say like, "This is a weird request." Like, I say, "No, this is a style of my style of videos that I want to continue, and that's why I get that."
Right, good stuff.
Okay, one more
Hmm.
thing, moving back on to the tech side. So apart from NativeBase, I can see there are a couple of more products are also here. So can you tell us a little bit more on to the new one that you got just in the products lineup?
Hmm. Yes, I wouldn't reveal the name, but I'm in this no code and dev tools ecosystem, and whatever products that we are doing right now, it's mostly related to that. You might know BuilderX. BuilderX is a design tool that codes React Native and React for you. Uh, we had some success. We had a lot of users. That product is going on, and we have been helping users and developers around the world. But it has its own problem. Like when you start with a design tool and then you try to fetch code from the design, it's really tough because designers design in like absolute positions, and then you need to find the closest matching of like putting them in a row, find the flex direction, and do all those stuff. So we had some success, I would say, but now we are pivoting to a different product altogether, and that is set to be released after the NativeBase version 3 launch. It's based on NativeBase version 3, and it's more like a visual coding tool. That's what we call this. Uh, so just like say you go back to your VS Code and update things and then come back here and see the hot reload thing happening. So this new tool that we are building, it's more of you directly edit things right there. Click on a box and it's actual running code inside the tool. Click on a box and type say blue and it turns to blue. You use the arrow key and say you need a button and it injects a button in the code and back in the browser as well. So that's one tool that we are working on right
Okay, so
now.
simultaneously it
And
just writes the code and you just tell it visually like that.
yes, yeah. So the feedback loop is really fast, and with a lot of something like snippets in there, you type login and it gives you the entire login screen
Oh,
with
that's
everything
cool.
integrated with form and validation, all those things.
Yeah, and
So
one of the
yeah, that's
question,
one. Yeah.
yeah, one of the question that usually people kind of say this, I know, but I think you should address this much more. That when people say that it's no code and the world is going and moving towards no code, people just get scared that, oh, that means programmers' jobs are gonna go away, and I believe that it's gonna just double up the need of programmers. So what your thought about this one?
It's always like I would take reference what my dad used to say that He has a lot of friends in government jobs, and he has seen the entire like computerization of things that used to be done manually. And he always picks up things like, you see, the banks, for example. Banks used to have everything manual, and then people were scared that with e-banking they would lose the job because they don't know how to use it. But it turns out that the jobs, the demand was like doubled, and all these people who were like just manual tellers, they were moved to like more automated things. And it ends up in helping people and ends up in like creating more jobs around it. So for example, if we talk about no code, it's definitely not going to take away the jobs. It's going to create more jobs because there would be more demand of like building things. And when you build things faster, because that's the ultimate goal of no code, that you build things faster, like something that was done in say 2 weeks, it could be done in like say 1 day or 2 day. And if people reach there faster, that means their users, they'll get more users early, there would be more maintenance or more ideas pouring in.
Yeah.
And it's totally not that story what people assume it to be.
I think you have summed it up perfectly. And I think the product that you are building now is an obvious next step after the native base, because native base helped the core developers to save a lot of time. And now you are trying to build something that a regular user can save a lot of time with just basic knowledge of programming.
Yes, that's right. And we are trying to make it more intuitive. And the first version is definitely going to be like developer centric, more of visual coding, but slowly we will evolve in the direction of like how does it make sense to the end users without the technical knowledge, like something like Builder X, or more like the design tools what we have out there, without losing the like great capability of like directly editing the code and all those things. That is what like developers are scared of, right? Or there's a resistance, I would say, that they don't want to go away too much from the code.
Yeah.
But these no code tools of today, they make it really hard to edit the code back. So trying to find a sweet spot between them, I would say.
So actually, that's really summed up well. Okay, so moving on a little bit. So how are you spending your time these days? It's really like we are computer geeks, and we need to be on computer no matter what we are doing up here. And there is always something. But apart from this whole, because this is a stressed up situation, what you do apart from this coding and work stuff?
I try to keep myself busy with. I have a lot of hobbies, I would say, and also uh, other than like coding and other than like managing people, I have a lot of personal. I think we have touched upon like into music, into. I
Music.
also sketch a lot.
Oh,
Uh, I sketch like there is this very nice app on iPad that's called Procreate,
yeah.
and with Apple Pencil, it feels like you're doing it on paper. And I have done like a few of them. You can find it on Twitter, uh, and that's uh, like a therapy, I would say, in this stressful situation. You paint and go do those things, and definitely like normal chores, cooking, and all those things are on the side for sure.
What's the
How
latest
about you,
series?
Hitesh?
What's the
Yeah.
latest series that you have watched?
I I don't watch too much of these series, but I think TVF has this aspirants, which is like really nice.
Ah,
I
that's
love that. Have you watched that TVF aspirants?
no, didn't got much time on that. Like I
Okay.
usually, again, just like you have to manage a whole lot of team, and you are also managing a couple of products and companies. I guess this one, a couple of your companies which you are offering your services are publicly mentioned, so I guess I can name them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so Khata Book and couple of great ventures that are coming up. You are the team behind that.
Yes, yeah. So services part is definitely an important part, and that's where the money lies right now for Geekians. And it's like we are bootstrap company. We are not like external. We don't have external investors right now. So that's an important thing that we have to go with, and we have like been working with Khata Book for a while now. And also, you might have seen this famous company on the jersey of IPL players, MPL. So we are also working with them
Yeah,
from like
that's also
past two
publicly
years. Since then,
mentioned.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, since the inception, we have been involved with them like really long time. When they when they started this project, we were involved since
Yeah,
then
I do
because they
understand.
were
Like,
looking for React Native. Yeah,
yeah,
and we were like good at it.
I do understand that you cannot mention all of them. I do understand NDAs like absolutely to the core. But whatever you can mention,
Yeah,
only that I have named publicly up here. I hope that's not an issue.
yeah, that's not at all an issue. And I like just like you had this copyright issue, we also had. So now we are playing safe with the names and all those things on the public profile.
Yeah, because it's a thing that you keep on, like, people think most of the time that code means that's business. It's not. Managing a business and coding a business are two completely separate entity. Like, can you touch a little bit on the business side of how things actually works in India? A little bit. Can you touch on taxes and how is it goes in India? Like,
So it's a tough job. I mean, managing definitely when you start a tech company or if you are providing, say, product and services on the tech lines, code is an important part. But that's like only like not everything. There's a lot on the periphery and how you like. When I started, I started coding very early. I started working with people in different country on like freelancing. I was doing that for a really long time, and then I thought like probably we should uh, establish a company and then get going. And that's where it all changed. Everything changed from there. Like from coding, from computers, it went to like papers back in those days. And we had to get like establishment, corporation, and a lot of paperwork that we had to do. I'm happy that I got a co-founder who sorts it all for me. So right from filing taxes to making sure like when you grow beyond say 25 people, there are different set of rules. When you grow beyond a certain number of revenue, so there are different rules that apply. So we had to get a lot of certification at every point as we grew. And it's still a pain. A lot of things, I would be very transparent. And things like ESOP in India, that's a weird law that we've got. Like it's taxable. It's nowhere else
yeah,
in the world that
that was a
ESOP is
surprise to
taxable.
me as well.
Yeah, and also like it creates a lot of problem. Like it paints the founders and the company not so good. And because we are trying to help, we are trying to give you a part of the company, and then comes the taxation part that government wants to take away. And I hope it is revised and we follow more of like international approach to this entire taxation and ESOP sort of thing as well.
Yeah, I really don't understand that part. Like, you are getting ESOPs that almost like a share, but you haven't cashed it out. Why are you getting a tax on that? Like,
Yeah.
I really don't understand. And things actually start changing in the entire company once you start moving 1 crore out of that, your company, or how somehow your revenue moves above 1 crore, then a whole lot of things change in India, like suddenly, just right out of the box. Like, that was a big surprise to me, like how crazy it can go, like, from there.
Yes, yeah. I think that's one part when you talk about like going from a dev role to managing or owning a business. The one part is definitely that paperwork and all those
And as a
certificates.
developer,
The
you'd never
second
want
part,
to go
yeah,
away
yeah,
from code.
yeah. Yes, that's right. And yeah, that reminds me of Dan Abramov. Like he had his Twitter bio for a long time saying junior developer for life. And that was on purpose, right? He wants to be there, don't want to move too much away. Yeah. So I was talking about like the second piece, like when you start building a company, coding is one part, then these paperwork is one part. Then the third part is more of like you have to learn the interpersonal skill and you have to be in a leadership position, and then you have to manage people. So that brings in a separate thing, and that builds the culture overall of the company that you're building. So there's a lot of work that you need to do, I would say.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, actually. And being a coder, you
Mhm.
actually love your job, and you, by the end, you never want to go away from this. And sometimes you
Yes.
have to, like, leave it for a few time and manage stuff, which is like really I guess all programmers are
Yes.
not trained to be managers or management, but somehow we end up there.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, but I think that's equally important, and that's why we also push people like who work with me in the company, that okay, that if you do great work and you don't show it to the world, then that's not it. Like your great work should is meant to be meant for people, right? And that's why we push people to do meetups, to give talks, and to interact a lot, form a team of like different tech stacks within the company or outside the company as well. And that's where people start to like get a taste of all these things, and then slowly get into how to be a team player and manage people and all those things. So I think it's equally important. And when you are young and when you are fresh out of college or in college, you don't think about all these things. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you get a bummer. Okay, we need to focus on this, right?
Okay, there is a nice comment from Nasir. He says, I attended interview in Sanket's office after NativeBase meetup. Very happy with your approach.
Thank you so much, Nasir. Thank you so much that you were there at office. I wish this entire thing gets over soon. I miss meetups a lot.
Yeah, I wish I could have done this live stream directly sitting in your office, and it would be so much amazing being in your office and talking to more people there and answering questions. Like it could have been much more fun than just sitting in the studio.
Yep, in person. I always prefer in person town hall meets and conferences anytime.
And Bangalore is like I previously was visiting Bangalore almost every month because entire development team and everybody is there. So it was like almost every month going back and forth, and so
Mhm.
many people are from Bangalore and Jaipur because they travel back and forth. We have met so many people in the plane. Uh, both the founders of Razorpay are from like nearby house. Both founder of
Okay,
Unacademy are from same like just neighbors.
that's great.
So many people you have to meet up here. So much like that.
Mm. I didn't know that Razorpay and all these guys are from the Jaipur region. That's good to know. We are good friends. I have a lot of friends at Razorpay as well, and we do a lot of meetups, and people show up from Razorpay, and they speak. So it's really nice.
Razorpay is one of the company I absolutely love. Like the way how their entire setup is there, the way how they are tackling the problems. Like this is the one company I would love to see in the stock market very, very soon.
It's a double unicorn already, I guess, and
Yeah.
it's more or less getting there. And I love the team and their approach, the business model. It's very nice, and they're also always like speaking totally completely from a technical and developer perspective. They're always on top of like what's trending. Like we
Yeah.
released React Native Aria a few days ago. That's a set of hooks that you can use in React Native to incorporate accessibility in your React Native apps. And the day we released, the next day they sent a message that we are using this. We would need your help on top of this.
Oh.
And also their checkout page uses Svelte.js.
Yeah.
Svelte.js was like just right in there, and they started using it. So that's
That's
really nice
when
to
I
see
had a
such.
talk with one of the developers there, and they say we are using Svelte, and I was like, wow, I haven't even finished reading the docs, and you are implementing it at to this scale of production. Like that's hats off.
Yeah, right.
And one of the thing which I absolutely love about Razorpay is this is one of the foundational company, and this is type of company we need in India because there are other unicorns. I honestly and without any sorry feeling, I would say they are bubble. They have no idea how to generate revenue. They have absolutely, some of them don't even have business plans, even don't have their own softwares or any product on their own. So I don't know how they are going to be surviving in the long run or when this bubble is going to burst, but we need more companies which are stable on the ground, on the papers, in the books, like Zoho, Razorpay. These are actually making money and they are making other people's life easy. So that is one thing I'm really happy. Like again, this video is not sponsored
I
by anybody,
Yeah.
but we are just
No,
appreciating in
I
general.
share. Yeah, yeah, I share the same sentiment, Hitesh. I love companies that is built on like strong foundations, and that is actually solving real problems, not like staying in the bubble. And also, I have a lot of respect for Razorpay and Zoho and all these companies that is solving real problem, and they're not like something like Zerodha is great, uh,
Yeah.
and not all these like recently funded unicorns, which is
Yeah.
like in the bubble, I would say.
Okay, we got another guy here. Uday Yadav got my first payment on Razorpay. So, hey, congratulations. You are in a good company.
Good to hear that.
Okay,
Good.
so it's really nice. Now, in
Hmm.
case guys you want to ask any questions or anything like that, now is the time that you can just fill up the entire comment section or everything. We will be taking up some of your questions for the next 5 or 10 minutes, and I won't be dragging this talk too long because we want to bring Sanket probably back on some other day when we have more things launched up or I have more questions prepared specially for him. Then surely we'll try to bring him again. It's tough, but I'll try.
For for sure, Hitesh. It's my pleasure to be here. I also wanted to do it from a really long time, but occupied. That's it.
Yeah, and just to give you all
Hmm.
you guys a little bit idea, I have been approaching Sanket for a while for this kind of a live because I really enjoyed, love his product. Another guy I have been talking for like years now is you might be aware of Pablo Stanley. He is one of the lead designers on one of the company which I really don't talk too much on the channel, Udemy. He was the lead
Okay.
designer there, and he has
Hmm.
great sense of art and stuff, and like the way he designs and he sees the UI and UX. I have learned like a lot from him within few months.
Yeah, I would love to like have listen to him on this stream. Yeah.
Okay, so questions are coming up. I'll pick up some of the interesting one first here.
Okay. Keep
React
it
Native
easy. Keep it
eats
easy.
battery. Short comment on that.
That's true. Use Expo, I would say. Use Expo, and it wouldn't eat much of your battery if you can handle things with Expo.
And in case you want a little bit more technical, because actually things are bridges in the React Native, and when these bridges are being converted into C++ and all those native layers, it has to do processing, and processing consumes battery. I hope I'm correct.
Yeah. Or maybe find a power socket.
Okay, why all tech guys wear plain t-shirt?
Oh, okay. Less choices and less decisions to make, I would say.
Yeah, we already are choosing a lot between, oh, is it variable, is it constant? Okay, Marvel versus DC.
I'm not into that.
Okay.
How about you, Hitesh? Go ahead.
I'm a big time DC fan in the comic zone, but I use all the
Okay, okay.
examples of Marvels in my tutorials and stuff because I know people love it. But I'm a big time fan of DC. I think DC has more superheroes, and
Mm,
Marvel nailed it down in movies, but still.
right.
Okay, one more here from Pratik. Why all the startups are generating in Bangalore and not other parts of India? Hmm.
Hmm. I think Bangalore is like San Francisco of the world right now for India. And since all the startups are here, all the great minds are, I mean, keep coming to Bangalore. Even in the other parts of the country, they like I'm not a native of Bangalore, but I moved to Bangalore and then I found like-minded people here. And I think that's the reason, maybe. What do you think,
Okay.
Hitesh?
I think same because even though I'm here, but most of my team who is remotely hired, like we are 100% remote, so entirety of them are in Bangalore. So even if this was not a Corona time, I once thought to buy apartment in Bangalore because it was so much coming back and forth. I thought like let's buy an apartment and have it there.
Yeah, I think after this Corona thing, things are going to change, and the development is going back to all the like second tier and third tier cities. That's good move, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. Another one from Aditya. Any career option for students from NativeBase?
Okay, so go ahead and apply. We have the Geeky Ants job portal there, so you can go ahead and try it out. If not just Geeky Ants, if you have hands-on experience with native base or React Native, I think that's going to get you a job without much of hassle.
Yeah, right now JavaScript is crazy. But all it needs is
Totally.
practical, real experience. Don't wait for companies to hire you and give your experience. You can get your experience just in your laptop. So I don't know why people wait.
seriously.
Okay. Nakul says, what do you think where JavaScript would be next 5 years? I don't know if we are going to live next 5 years or not with the current situation.
Yeah, 5 years is a long, long time.
I have no idea of the Okay, so one last we are going to take is going to be final year student, any tips? Okay.
Projects, experiments, research. That's it. Yeah, 3 words: project, experiment, and research.
Yeah, that's nicely. Build as much as you can.
Yeah, build is the word, right?
Yeah, so
Good.
okay, so we're gonna just end up this live. It was a nice, short and sweet, and it was really fun to have you on the channel. Probably I'll bring you entirety of your team as well, so that we can talk more on to AWS and stuff and geek out a little bit more here. So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I would love that, Hitesh. I think we can do more of like technical and like deep into some specific topic and then have more discussion or maybe fight. I would love
Yeah,
that. And I can bring in people from my team, yeah, for this live stream as well, like experts on specific topics. It
yeah. Surely we
was
can have
really
just a one
nice.
fight on,
Yeah.
let's just say AWS. Probably Fargate versus EC2 or what you're using. Something like
Yep,
related to
for
that.
sure.
Okay, there's a
For
super
sure,
chat as
Hitesh.
well. What geeky ant use as a backend language? They don't use any.
Uh, we do use. There's a lot of mix, I would say. Like we have Node, we have Laravel, PHP, and Spring Boot as well in one of the projects. So it's a mix of technology. Front end is sorted mostly it's React Native, and Flutter. Back end, it depends.
Yeah, if you'll ask me, like geeky ants just as a website, there's just front end, so they don't
There's
use any.
nothing. Yeah, that's just front end. Yes, yeah, that's right.
So that they don't use any backend in case you want a short answer, but in case you want a longer answer, then it's
Yes,
always going to be a mix. You cannot just
yeah,
stand with one tech. Eventually product grows, and like on our website Learn Code Online, we are using Gatsby, we are using Core React, we are using Next.js as well. And in the behind the scene there was so much of mess of database. Right now we have cleaned it up, but it's still a mess.
right. All right,
Okay, all
Hitesh.
right.
Yeah,
Again, first thing again, thank you so much for creating NativeBase. It's helping thousands and thousands of developer, and from the entire YouTube community, please convey my thanks and a lot of love to your entire team. They deserve a big, big shout out, and really a great thing that you are doing. Really happy to see this.
it's an honor to receive that from you, Hitesh, and thank you so much for having me here. I would love to come back and share more on like everything. Thank you so much, Hitesh,
Thank you.
and
And
bye bye.
can you just stay for like 2-3 minutes? I'll just shut down this
Yeah,
stream, and I need to talk a little bit on another thing. Just take five
yeah,
minutes. Okay.
yeah, sure, yeah, right, yeah.